one of the things I found that even exceptional caregivers, the mistakes they make when they're working with families or they're working with an aging family member is sometimes your strong personality will make you lose work. What do I mean by that? You see, when you are working with a family, they don't know you, they haven't met you before. Perhaps you've done a trial shift, right? Or for a few days they want just to see if the chemistry will work. You have to think like a business person. You have to think like a manager. Even if you're going to be working with one person, you have to think like a business person. When you think like a business person, you carry yourself a certain way. You set expectations right at the beginning. So let me talk about this strong personality where you can be really loud or you want to take over, or you've got your own fears. Will I manage to do my bills this month? Will I support my family, or will I manage to get some time off? You know, you have all these different concerns. As a business owner, you have to think like a leader. Yes, they may see you just as a caregiver, but it is up to you to show that family you are more than a caregiver. You are more than a carer. You have to showcase your organizational skills. Yes? And then another thing you need to do is make sure that as you enter that home, you are in that home as a guest. So you have to tone down a little bit. This is not to say you must diminish who you are, no, this is to say, for that time while you're there, just keep it calm, keep it chilled. Understand how to let that person have their own space. Don't be around them 24/7. Unless, of course, you have to keep an eye on them, like from a distance, because if they get up, they might fall, which is a different kind of care package, which is complex care. And there's a way to do that you don't have to be exhausted and risk burnout, yes? Because every care package has its own expectations. So thinking like a business owner, that means you must only take on clients, patients, aging family members who you feel comfortable to look after, to support. Because remember, you're coming in a supportive role. Yes, you're coming in an advisory role. You want that person to feel like you are supporting them, not you taking over. This is what I found in the community. When clients felt like that, because I used to get feedback, right? People will say, no, that person is too much. That person is always on the phone, which is a huge mistake. You must have time that is set aside for you, which is a legal requirement anyway, where it is now your own personal time, where you can get on the phone, you can talk to family members, you can talk to friends, you can check your emails, you can check your phones and all that. Because remember, it doesn't look good to clients when you're busy on the phone the whole time, right? It doesn't look right. So if you think like a business owner, right, is you decide, I'm going to work with this family for the next 6 weeks, for the next 8 weeks, for the next 90 days. You've sorted your private life. You know who's looking after, who's doing what, all this. You've sorted out all your appointments. But initially, give yourself 2 weeks, yeah? So you have a feel of who this person is. The idea is to gather information, how you will get along with them, because the agency may hire you, right? Or the family may hire you, but as you're working with that family, you realize there are some ways about that person that you can't stand. Yes, so that is why you have a trial period of 2 weeks. That is really to help you, or give yourself 3 weeks. Here's one way to do that really well. When you start working with that client, just say up front, you know what, I really prefer to tell me, just tell me straight away. Or let's have some time where we're having some coffee. If there's something that concerns you, that bothers you, that you're not happy about, let me know, because I'm coming in your home as a guest. I've had to leave my own home to come and support you. So if there's something that you may not like, just let me know. And remember, I'm human. I may not always get it right. I may do the laundry at the time you didn't expect, or I may want to help you out, and because I'm proactive, I may take initiative and start tidying up, and you may freak out like, oh, why are they doing this, right? Because I think like a manager, I don't want you to worry. I will take initiative. Is that okay with you? Yes? So you talk about it at the beginning because you are building rapport. Yes? And then you also hear from them. What makes you uncomfortable? Because sometimes, especially like here in England, which is what I found, sometimes the English clients, they are really polite. They don't want to have difficult discussions with a stranger, or they may not know how you're going to react. And this is what I also found. Sometimes the agencies make a mistake, which is another workshop that I'm doing. If you want to be a part of that workshop, let me know. I'm going to put a link somewhere down below, and you can be a part of the workshop, because this is a practical day-to-day stuff. How to have harmony in a home that you've never lived. And also on the side of the families, how to manage expectations, how to understand what the caregiver doesn't need to be doing. Yes, because the caregiver is coming as a professional, as a guest in your home, right? So they are coming to make sure that your parents are fine, that they're getting their medication on time, according to the care package you've chosen anyway. Or they may simply just be a companion. So it is important to manage expectations at the beginning, because that's how this is how it becomes a sustainable care package. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. Yes? So I'm talking to the caregivers right now on this video. Caregivers, be professional. Do not have this mindset, oh, I'm just making a little bit of money. Then it might not be the right profession for you. Because families can feel it, and another person can feel it. Even the person you're looking after. Yes, they can feel it. So when you go into that home, imagine yourself like you're on a working holiday. That's the mindset, on a working holiday. That does not mean you are distant, you are not there, you're just watching TV all the time. That is unacceptable. You won't last in the industry, and you won't achieve your goals, whatever you want to achieve. It means you don't have this like so much pressure on your head. No. It is not like you're working in the critical care department in the hospital. Absolutely not. It's not like you're working in the accident and emergency hospital, right? The part of the hospital, or that kind of hospital. It's not like you're working in an emergency situation. This is a little bit chilled. It's in the community. You take your time. You're living with somebody, you're a companion, but you are a professional. And who knows, you may build a long-term friendship with that person. That's just how it is. But this is what I like to talk to people, and I like to teach and to support and to guide. Sometimes an arrangement may not work out, and that is fine. It may mean maybe expectations were not assessed at the beginning, right? It could be from the family. The family were expecting something that is unrealistic, yes? Or it could be the caregiver. They were expecting a certain client, and it's unrealistic, because sometimes what you hear from the agency and what actually happens on the ground is completely different. Because every agency is different. Some are trying to meet their numbers, So you have to go in there as you are completely professional. You're taking full responsibility for supporting this person. So you have to do the risk assessment. You have to do the medication, you have to check everything. You have to make sure the carbon monoxide alarm is working. You have to check the smoke alarm is working. You have to prioritize the safety of that person. In an emergency, you have to know how to adapt to an emergency. Yes? But the beauty of working closely with somebody, right, is you will start to know if there's any change. And you will notice changes in behavior when the family comes around, or when the family are not there. Where maybe somebody's just like, I just want my family to look after me. You have to be able to sense that. And you have to be able to respect somebody what they wish, yes? So, as a professional caregiver, I want you to see yourself as a business owner. This is your business. And if you are really good at this, you can have 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 clients. And if this is part of you sorting out your financial, goals, that is really good. So you have to value that. Yes? It's not just about paying your bills, it's making a difference in somebody else's life. But the good thing is you're not just making a difference in somebody else's life, you're also achieving your own personal goals. That is why you can easily make 1,000, 1,200 a week, depending on the type of person you're looking after, depending on the care package you have decided. Right? So as a coach, I coach families. I am not directly involved in the care. According to CQC, it is more like a facilitator, introduction agency. So that means I'm not directly involved with the care. So usually I look for people who have some experience looking after the elderly in the community. And we go through all that paperwork, we set the expectations, you do all the police checks. You have to be somebody that is trustworthy and reliable, somebody dependable, somebody who can manage their emotions well, somebody who's self-aware, right? Because it's not just about rushing into and get the client and, no, you want to make a difference in somebody else's life. Like I said earlier, you may make some friends for life. Who knows? And in that sense, you will always have work. You will always have an income. Isn't that good? That's amazing. You'll never be stranded. But when you are this person who doesn't understand about managing your emotions, when a client is having a difficult day, or that elderly parent, because of maybe the condition they have, they may have some mild or severe dementia, and they may be suspicious of you, don't take that personally. It just comes with the territory. Don't take it personally. Just, like shake it off like, oh, she can get like this or he can get like this. It's not a big deal. Don't take it personally. Okay? So you have to be the kind of person who's also aware that, you know what, people do what they do for their own reasons. But of course, if it gets out of hand, that is why you have a coach, I'm having some challenges, and we don't have to discuss the care because that has already been checked that you're the right person. And I may need to take a break. I would like to have a change. And that's fine. That's well and good. But I highly recommend you give yourself at least 21 days. Otherwise, it's not worth your while. Yes? That is why at the beginning, all the expectations are set. The family know what is expected of you and what you will not do. You won't be like the housekeeper running around trying to care for the family member and then also doing all the housekeeping and all this. Different families have different expectations and they may not understand. If they want, for example, they want someone who's like a housekeeper companion, that's different. But you also have to analyze, if it means I have to keep a close eye on them, will I be exhausted? Will I be overworked? So I like to say at the beginning, explain to the family, we need to have somebody who comes to tidy the home every 2 weeks. Especially if it is somebody that you have to keep an eye on closely. Somebody that you may have to wake up at night. Because if you are tired from cleaning the house, you may not want to keep an eye on the family member. So that is risky. That is not safe. Yes? This is what I found it working in the community. So at the beginning, who is going to do this? Who is going to do that? Doctor's appointments, anything that needs to be done, the shopping, the grocery. Do we do it online, or do I go while it's my working time, go to the shops, do all the shopping, or can we order online in bulk, which is actually easier? Ordering online is so much easier. Yes, but you may find some family members are like, the aging parents may be like, that's a problem, that's an issue. So you discuss with them as realistically as you can. This is safer, this is the modern way, and being a companion in the house does not mean that you'll be able to do everything. You may be exhausted, or it could be a difficult day. So doing online shopping can be quite an advantage. And you have to discuss this with the family who's taking care of the finances. Because ideally, when you're going into a new home, you don't want to be blamed for money going missing or all this little, unexpected issues that can rise up. So you can have a diary where the amount the family member brings in is recorded and you sign it as a witness. So you have to keep the receipts of all the shopping that you've done, right? So that when one of the family members, for example, they may just, for their own reason, feel like they don't trust you, don't take it personally. That is fine, because sometimes, listen to this, it takes a while for people sometimes to trust you. Yes? You may be all this, but some people may have had a bad experience. Remember, sometimes people have had a bad experience with another caregiver. It's not you. And of course, it may feel exhausting and tiring, but it is what it is, right? So you make sure that the finances are documented, how much was brought in and how much you spent. Do not use your own finances. Explain to the family right at the beginning. All the finances to do with the housekeeping must be settled here and now. Let's sort it out. Let's get the finances in, let's get the cash in. Because it is important to make everything clear right at the beginning. That is what will save you a lot of headache later on. And listen, I do a workshop and I do a coaching. You need to get in touch with me. There's a link somewhere down below. And with my coaching, I help you to prepare mentally, because the practical stuff you probably know, you'll be okay, ideally. If you're not, that's part of the coaching to prepare you so that when you go in, you're already sorted. You're like, okay, this is what to expect. This is how to deal with this kind of situation. So that's a little bit more detailed, and ideally, I would like to give that knowledge to somebody who is ready. You know, you're like, I'm ready to go this weekend, next week, in the next 3 days. That knowledge and idea that, you know, you're ready to go is really useful. Because sometimes people phone and they're like, I need somebody next week. So it is really good for us to have somebody on our books ready to go. So listen, leave me a message and I'll be in touch with you. Or you can, you know, book. There's a link somewhere down below. You can book a time slot and we'll do all the paperwork, all the discussion, all the screening. It will all be done. Okay, so just to recap on that slowly, we have talked about making sure as a caregiver you think like a business person, because you will be doing your accounts anyway, self-employed, yes? So think like a business person. Your reputation is on the line. You want families to know you and want to call you later on if there's an emergency. You know, they want to talk with you because they remember how you were. They could tell you're organized and you know how to be firm with their parents. Because yes, sometimes you have to be firm with the parents. Sometimes parents are, you know, just they want to give their children a hard time. It is what it is. Yes, especially when people are going through change. It's really complex, different types of emotions, but you want to be level-headed. You want to be somebody who's self-aware. So you want to make sure you're getting enough rest in the day and enough rest at night. Because sometimes at night, if this family member starts waking up or wondering because of their condition they're dealing with, it may mean having to get somebody else who comes to cover the night, because you have to be sharp and alert to support the family member. Yes, you want their children to have peace of mind, because most of their children are professionals. They could be living somewhere around the world. You want them to feel like their mom or dad is in safe hands and that you keep an eye on things. That if any emergency will arise, you will let them know, and you will be in touch with your support network. You'll be in touch with your coach. You know how to get in touch with a GP in the day. You know how to confidently explain what's going on, or you know how to contact emergency should an emergency arise at night. You know how to make sure the family member, you ask their permission. Do you want an ambulance? Sometimes the family member falls. I had somebody I was supporting some years ago, and despite my advice and reminding them, and we had a great relationship, almost everybody that I looked after, unless they had like memory issues, they would forget who I am. That was few and far in between. But I remember this one around 1 o'clock in the morning. I just heard this loud thud on the floor. Oh my goodness. You know, I jumped out of bed and I had to go and check on them. Are you okay? What's happening? And they were like, I was like, why didn't you call me? I've got the call bell next to you. You know, you could have called me. Yes. And they were like, oh, I didn't want to worry you. I didn't want to upset you. I said, no, you know I'm here. You know, that's why I'm being paid. That's why I'm here to support you. I don't want this to happen. So we ended up having to go A&E, you know, by 02:03. Then we were back. Around those times, it was the wee hours of the morning. And I remember thinking to myself, oh man, that's why I walked away from the hospital. I used to, this is also something for me that I would say to the families. I used to do night shift. So I'm not very good with night shift. I'm just putting it out there. If an issue arises where I have to wake up more than twice, we have to consider getting somebody else in. Yes, or it may mean I have to rearrange the next day. There's some things we may not do because I have to catch up on my rest. So you have to work all these things out, yes? So be somebody who is sensible. You want to be as human as possible, but you also want to be professional, yes? So think like a business person. Make sure your accounts are up to date as far as possible, because you have to do your assessment here in the UK, self-assessment once a year, right? If you are a bit late, you know, catch up with that. What I want to say is, one of the hardest things as a professional caregiver, even the most exceptional, sweetest person who is attentive, there's so many things I could have added, but that's part of the workshop that you need to come on, and there's a link down below, is even the sweetest person needs to know how to take care of you. because supporting somebody else does not mean you neglect you. That is why people are like, I'm walking away, I'm not doing this anymore. Because you forgot to take care of you, and you forgot to set expectations at the beginning. You forgot to navigate the different challenges that started coming. It's not just always about walking away, it's about working out. Okay, what can we do in this situation? Yes? Can we reconcile the differences going on here? Or, that's the other side, is not going to work because it's unsafe to live with that person in your home. The pressure, the stress of you worrying about, the aging parent. Maybe they hurt themselves, they fall down in spite of you speaking to them, and they can't hear you, or they get confused. You see, everything needs to be assessed. You have to be the right person, but even if you're the right person, sometimes it is not safe to care for somebody at home. That is why they will have to go into a residential home or a nursing home. And so, be smart about that. Don't cover up anything like, oh, I'm going to lose my income. It is better to be straight up. Do not be afraid of losing your income. That other person matters more, and so do you. You absolutely matter. And you will always get work. When you have a great attitude, you always get work. That's not a problem. So listen, get in touch with me. There's a link somewhere down below. This is one of the most rewarding careers in the community if you do it the right way. And if you have the right mindset towards it. You have to think like a business owner. Do not think, oh, I'm not a big agency and all this. No, think like a business owner. And you have to also think, who else can support me while I'm looking after this family? Because if an emergency arises, do I have 2 people I can call to come and cover me while I'm away? Yes? So I'll see you on the next video. I'll post another one tomorrow. And get in touch with me because I have a few limited spaces. I'm only looking for exceptional people that you've got like a year or 2 minimum working in the community. And if you have any further questions, get in touch with me. I can only take people that are well screened, people that are exceptional, people who have a great track record. And if this is not for you, don't worry about it. You have to find what's right for you. I'd rather that. Okay, thank you for now.